Hello, and welcome to Sandman's Bullpen, brought to you by Busted Cooler Sports Network. My name is Patrick, and oh boy, Yankees losing in a embarrassing series, coming back, winning one game, and then going on to lose that series at home. Where have I seen this before? Absolutely heart-wrenching. Going into game 4 and hoping that they could maybe pursue it and push it into game 5. Very frustrating. This has been a year of frustration, even more so than 2024. This time, can't even really blame Boone. Very poor lineup construction. Derek Jeter and A-Rod said it on the post game show. They're absolutely correct. A lot of issues with the construction of the lineup all season. A lot of issues that when to bench certain guys and how the lineup was set up, and a lot of the issues that have been plaguing the Yankees over the better part of the season and for several years now have kind of shown up and hurt them in key moments. The awful defensive plays from especially Jazz that pretty much sealed their fate in that game. He makes a if he makes a solid scoop and even a throw to second, and you probably get out of that inning. And it is incredibly frustrating to see the same issues crop up, the same defensive gaffes, and it's more so annoying when you have a situation where you bring in Ryan McMahon and you solidify the infield, and you see that the team has the capacity and the skill to make crazy plays. I mean, we saw it with Bellinger and made a great catch in left field, and at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. I mean, as much as the rest of the team solidified their defensive play, too much showboating, too many times where a defensive play can make or break a game, and we allowed Toronto to take the initiative, and to Toronto's credit, every time the Yankees allowed any sort of runner in scoring position or made a mistake, Toronto was able to capitalize, and the Yankees couldn't. The Yankees numerous times throughout the series had men on base or men in scoring positions and did nothing with it. Tonight was just a microcosm of what has happened the entire year, where the Yankees have situations, have men on base, and just can't capitalize. We saw this numerous times. As much as it is annoying and frustrating, and we want to absolutely go in on Aaron Boone and blame him and say everything really stems from him. It's totally disingenuous. I said this last week, and even so, watching the post game and really having A-Rod and Jeter fully talk about the situation that so many of us have seen over the better part of 6-7 years now, where we continually see the same issues, the same problems with this team, and it has not been remedied, and we keep falling into these issues and traps, and we did not fix the issues from last year. The comments that the Dodgers made relatively stay true. I mean, you could easily run on us. Toronto consistently put guys in scoring position, brought them home. I mean, they were just great at playing every facet of the game: small ball, long ball. Outside of the game yesterday where they had a couple defensive gaffes, they took advantage of everything that the Yankees threw at them. And, the main takeaways, I think the Yankees, and it's even more so embarrassing with the fact that I think most people going into this game four believe that the Yankees were gonna be able to push it to a game five, and especially off the fact that the Toronto Blue Jays had this very hit and miss bullpen, and they go into this is an important game four, that being the bullpen game, and absolutely shut down the Yankees. Absolutely shut them down. Credit to Schneider. He managed a beautiful game for Toronto. He absolutely did every decision that he made through the game worked in their favor, and I don't think I've seen a better show of management skill in a long time, where he was just so able to get command of the game, know when to bring in his pitchers, and utilize his relief staff in the best possible way. And as much as it kills me to say that, it absolutely kills me to say that. Um, there was really nothing Boone could do. I mean, that Toronto was just winning on all facets. The Yankees just couldn't get through to the pitching, and everything they could do, pitching wise. Like, Toronto was just hitting everything. Vladdy alone, in his first ALDS series, batted 9 for 17, had a 5.29 average, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, and a 1.609 OPS. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. And then it's not only just him, it was the entire lineup. You look at the team batting average, and this is just going by what Baseball Reference has for the first 3 games. Team average was 345, OPB 383, the overall slug 664, the OPS was over 1047. I mean, it's just night and day. The Yankees average was 269. I mean, entirely different. Vast difference in average and slugging. Just ridiculous. And look, I'm gonna get a little bit of slack for the previous podcast where I went off on Judge. Judge had a way better series, way better postseason. Still didn't get the job done. And I was having a conversation with somebody, and they made a perfect point. Judge, outside of the home run, I mean, his RBIs, he didn't have a massive impact. And a lot of it is to do with the lineup construction. I'm not a big fan of this, as I said, the analytics side of baseball, with Judge being in the 2 hole. I think he is a 3-4 hitter. You really should have had him in those positions to bring in the most amount of runs and have the most impact on your offense. But the analytics say otherwise. That's just a different facet of the game, and maybe I'm a fossil, but again, a lot of those reasons why teams did it for so long. But what do I know? I mean, it go down the line, and you look at the pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays was just otherworldly. Outside of Game 3, I mean, they shut us down. They absolutely shut us down. One run in the first game. They gave up, they gave up 7 in the garbage time in the second game, and then game 3, they give that was really the only time they got knocked around, and then after that point, they brought in their, I mean, again, it goes to show you how well thought of that the structure of the bullpen was, that they could trot out a bullpen and have it go the distance, and not have a issue where they constantly needed. I mean, it was just immaculate. And again, I don't want to shit on any of the pitchers. I mean, Max Fried just had a bad. Our pitching staff just had bad games, but Blue Jays had a freaking uh, just astonishing hitting series. I mean, there's no way to get around it. I mean, they had as good of a postseason as you could possibly hope for. I mean, the amount of run production was phenomenal. I mean, you go into a series, you're hoping for a basic batting average above. In this day and age in MLB, you're hoping you're above, for your team average that's above, 260, and then you have a slugging somewhere in the range of 7. I mean, they were just knocking balls around left and right. I mean, again, absolutely atrocious. But then it really comes down to, and like I said in the previous show, comes down to Cashman. Cashman let us down. Went into the trade deadline, and we did not deal for a proper relief staff for people that can put out fires and stop the bleeding, and it showed. There's a lot of games, but even to a lesser extent, how are you allowing a team to continually make these awful defensive plays over and over and over again and not fixing anything? And I know what the Yankees front office is immediately going to think to do. They're going to want to get one of these big name free agents come the end of the season and kind of make a slashy move. But it's always going to be the same thing with them. You go to the playoffs, you get all these flashy players, you load up on all these, high contract, super players, and at the end of the day, you're going to still have the same issues. You're still going to have guys that round the bases poorly and get picked off. You're going to have guys that are not able to make key plays on defense in important moments, and you're gonna have the same boneheaded managerial decisions. And again, I'm not making any excuses for Boone. Boone was terrible throughout most of this year. He was terrible last year. Just because I'm saying it's not his fault for this series doesn't mean that I don't want him gone. He is just as much of an issue in this organization. But I think for the most part, Cashman's a bigger issue. Cashman has consistently shown that every time that we are almost there, he makes the wrong decision. He makes a poor decision. And again, let's not even talk about Juan Soto. That ship sailed. They made a solid offer to him. And in that regard, even if we did have Juan Soto, guaranteed Toronto's probably still wins the series. Just on the merit of our pitching did not show up. And the relief pitching was so subpar, and that is usually our if throughout the history of the New York Yankees, that's usually our bright spot. The reason that I named this show Sandman's Bullpen is because of the overall excellence of the New York Yankees bullpen throughout history. And now we're going into one of the dark moments in Yankee history. Not only just because we haven't won a championship in now going on 16 years, but the fact that we have no bright spots in our bullpen, maybe besides Bednar. And again, you really need to go out and try to rebuild this bullpen from scratch, because you're not winning nothing. If we do not have a solid bullpen come next October, it's going to be the same issue. And before we make any splashy big moves, because we all know something's coming, and I don't know if it's going to be Kyle Tucker or whoever, but whatever flashy move that they decide to make, maybe pay a little bit extra to make sure the coaching staff and the guys down in double A and single A and triple A, all the young guys come spring training know how to field a ball properly. And, that's all I got. I'm going to keep uploading. Probably not going to upload for a little bit. I'm going to cover a little bit of the upcoming series going forward up until the World Series, and I'll give a full breakdown of the season and give my final thoughts on the year in review. And really disappointed. Really disappointed. Didn't really think we were gonna win this series, but it's still, at the end of the day, you're still a fan, and regardless of whether or not you are right, I would have loved to have been wrong in that situation and have them win. But you always get what you want. All right, let's go Yanks.